Hello viewers, welcome to CodeForAny. If you hear new, hit subscribe buttons and notification bell so you can never miss any our incredible content. Data taxi app inside today we need to see this here. The start rights API callings. First of all, need to create here the OTP screens and then after need to calling this here the start rights. And also need to save this here the locations. Need to user change the location, then to save latitude located and current times need to save inside the local files, and to complete times we need to send this here this local files inside the server's stop time, because need here the tracks which place to go here. The drivers need to give this here the each point, each path, and this pathwise we need to calculate here the total kilometers, because needs here the droppers if you not use inside the local save, because sometime may be possible this writes some are the networks not available. That's why I need to missing here the location sending on server side. That's why not calling here the server side, but we need to save inside the local files. This is always if you not available net, then to get share the locations inside save into the files. This is the right way. Now need to first of all the write down here the API. First of all need to go this here the common files globes inside. Need to write down here the write starts API. Need to write down here static const sv write start is equal to, need to write down here the double quotes base URL write start. Like this, need to calling this here the API, and also need to modify here the location helper class. Need to modify because need to save this here the tracking for the right complete. Need to estimate calculate here the kilometers. First of all need the here the some variables. Need to save this here. First of all need this here the position variables, and to save this here the last locations of this update. Need to get this here the last locations. Optional variable need to define here the locations last location, like this. Then after need to also need this here the one set here the flags is save file location, set here the flags if on, then to save these locations. If you change, then to save inside the local file, and to always append here the path, like this. Now need to set this here the needs here also which file inside need to save. Need to give this here the booking ID. Need to use this here id dot text files. Need to use this here the booking id dot text files, like this. You need to give this here. That's why I need to need this here the booking id variables. Need to need this here is equal to, need to set here 0, like this sets here. And then after need to go here the change locations events. Need to find out here and need to write here, and to get this here the change locations and to listen this here. First of all need to save this here these functions the last locations. Then after need to check this here. Now need to write down here last locations is equal to give this here the positions, like this sets here. And then after need to check this here the conditions is locations and booking id. Location enables and not equal to booking id as a 0. Then we need to save inside the files. First of all need to write down here the try catch, because sometime may be possible inside right. Need to get this here the error. That's why I need to write down here the try catch, like this. And to print this here the errors, print error, write down here e dot to string, like this sets here. And then after need to write down here the file, and to call this here file, and to give this here the names of files. To write down here the dollar booking id, no needs here the curly brackets. To write down here txt, and to get this here the file objects. Then to write down here the, please make sure to write with since, otherwise the mismatch here the content. That's why I need to always use this here the since, and to write as a string. Always need to append here the before comma separators need to set here, and to write down here our patterns need to use this here, and to like this. First of all, need to give this here latitudes is equal to colons, then longitudes, then give this here the time like this sets here. Now need to give this here the value for latitudes and longitudes. First of all, need to set here the dollars signs. Need to give this here the positions. Dot latitudes. Same as need to copy here these files variables, and to paste this here. Now need to write down here the longitudes like this. Write down here. Then after need to last one set here semicolons colors, and now need to give this here the current times. Need to save this years. Use this here the date time variable. Dot now functions need to call this years. Then after need to calling this here the string format functions, and to give this here the format parameters, and to give this here the date and time. With this here the format YYY, MM, M capitals, DD, capital HH, small mm, and seconds like this. So need to configure years and to write down series. Here typo need to fix this here, and like this we need to setting this here the configurations are the saving inside the files. And now also need to give this here the most important parts of the appends. Need to give this here the mode file, always give this here the appends modes, otherwise need to always set here the one value. This is not right, because need to need here the all track of the moving driver start right to end right. So need to need this here the all information of the locations. That's why need to always need to append here the files like this, and to call this here. Now most important functions need to write down here inside the start rights. Need to calling this here the functions inside the location helpers. Now need to write down here the void start ride location save like this. Need to set here. Now first of all need to give this here the BID as a booking ID. You need to pass this here. Then after need to give this here the positions which point to need to start here, because this is the important parts of these files. And also need to save these points as a API callings times. Need to call this here. Now need to write down here the booking ID is equal to need to save this here the BID, and to given this here like this. And also need to again need to copy these file names. Need to write this here the debug prints. Need to copy here and to paste this here same as, because need to give this here the same variable names that here not matters, and to save this here like this files. Then after here need to remove here the comma, because here always get this here the first. That's why I need to give this here the years and z, and we need to calling this here the end times. Need to append these files with the start with the array brackets and over with these files, and brackets need to convert into the JSON string, and then after we need to set inside the complete. This is the most important parts of the this logics, because need to otherwise need to always not decode the JSONs. That's why need to need this here. First one is the remove, no needs here the any comma separators. Now same as need to write down here the stop writes functions. Write stop location save. Now need to first of all need to is save locations, need to set this here the false, and also need to write down here true. After the save is location save true. Like this need to saving here and to set this here. Now save. Now need to write down here the booking ID is equal to set is the 0. Like this need to configure here and to reset here the booking ID. Like this need to calling here. This methods need to call this after the complete threads. Before need to write stop this right and saving these functions need to calling here. Now here need to go this here the running rights view, and first of all need to set here the pop-ups. Need to first of all need to check here the UI and to find out here the start buttons and to set here one logics. Need to get here the buttons and to write down here the function. First of all need to create here the OTP gets for the drivers. If you users give this here the OTP, then after if valid, then to start here the writes like this need to API developings. That's why need to first of all need to create here the API develop. Need to first of all need to copy this here this dialogues and to convert into the OTP dialogues need to create here. Like this need to paste this here and to set this here. Now need to done button to change this here as a need to write down here the write start like this, and also cancel buttons need to write down here the red buttons need to set here and to close these pop-ups. Now need to define here the two variables. First of all need to one variables for the text editing variables need to write down here text editing controllers is equal to txt OTP is equal to text editing controllers. Like this need to save here and to creating here these files. Now need to use this here the files need to go down and to find out here the against these pop-ups and to give this here the text fields value here controllers is equal to txt OTP like this sets here. Now need to set here the please enter OTP and also need to write down here enter OTP. Like this need to set here the pop-up titles and to set this here. Then after need to remove here to write down here the 4 digit like this need to displaying here the message and to calling this here, and this is pop-up are the duns and need to write down here the start writes API need to write down here the API calls. First of all need to copy these functions and to change this here the names start write start like this need to give this here the names. Now need to change this here the API names add start. Now need to pass here the parameters. First of all need to check here the conditions. If txt OTP text dot length not equal to 4, then need to here return these functions and to display here the errors and to set here the title as error. And now need to set here the message please enter valid OTP. Like this need to error print here. Now need to check here the where start locations need to save this here is equal to location helper helper dots share. I have to use this here the last locations. Need to call this here. Now need to check here. Start locations. Need to get here the nulls. It means equal to null. Then need to return here these functions like this. Need to set here the conditions. Now need to give this here the another parameters. Need to pass this here. First of all, need to give this here the pickup latitudes and longitudes. Need to give this here pickup underscore latitudes. Then pickup underscore longitudes. And after need to give this here the OTP code. Text OTP dot text like this need to set here in these functions. Then after need to write down here the value of this to give this here the started location dots. Need to give this here the latitudes and dollar start location dots. Need to call this here longitudes. Like this need to calling this here the API or the call fields. And then after need to call this API, click on the start rights buttons of the this pop-ups. Need to call here and remove the status no needs. These are the functions and one more things need to check this here this view. No did show after the start. Need to comment here the codes. Waiting for right. After need to commit this code. No need this here. Met here the code. Now important part after the gets here the success this API calls need to start here the saving the files. That's why I need to use this here the location helper dot share and to call this here the start ride location save. First of all need to give this here the ride object and to give this here the booking ID. As we need to give this here the integer set here as here. Then after we need to write down here the start position, start locations, save here and pass this value here. Now this is the API callings are the done and to test this here. First of all need to restart these apps and to test here work or not need to check this here. Also need to one more things need to write down here the logs debug print save location these logs copy here same as need to put this here and to write down here restart again and now need to calling this here the start rides. First of all need to need this here the any needs here the OTP need to open here the MySQL database here, and to enter here the OTP, need to find out here this writes OTP. Here OTP is 5329. This is the valid OTP for the ride start. Now need to write down here the click on start, and maybe need to cancel here because need to write down here, find out here the overlay for this pop-up. And to change this here the with opacity, set here the 0.2 is good, and to again need to call this here the start rights, and to showing here this pop-up, so need to increase this here first of all. So here for cancel here, check again, and to displaying now goods for this UI, and now need to write down here the OTP 5329, and to click on the start rights, and to write as the started, and to get this here the API response are the successfully, need to get this here. If you like this video, please give the thumbs up. If you're new user, so please subscribe my channels and press the notification bell icon. You can get every new video notifications and awesome content. If you have any questions, so please write down the comment sections. I'll help you and sort out your issue. Everyone have a nice day. Goodbye and take care.